Good morning, Steve Freed in Chicago with the Morning Grain Comments. This is one of those special days each month in which the USDA comes out with revised U.S. and world supply and demand numbers. I think 11 o'clock obviously will be a lot smarter than we are now as to what the USDA feels the U.S. crops are and what they feel as far as global demand is. Markets started out lower overnight, concerned about increased interest rates, inflation, recession. All these things could lead to slower demand for global food and fuel, especially in China. We saw a little bit of a bounce in prices from the overnight lows on talk that there were some issues globally that could cause food shortages. Again, much of the world and parts of U.S. has seen a drought, and that has reduced production of certain products globally. We also are dealing with a war in Ukraine, and if that has opened up an export corridor for grain out of Ukraine, but will that be sustained? It seems like Ukraine is making advances in a counteroffensive, which could push Russia in some type of corner and react adversely to the Ukraine situation. We also note that Russian exports of wheat are not at the pace needed to equal the USDA's numbers as far as exports of wheat out of Russia. I think the trade is looking for a little bit lower corn crop, a little bit lower carryout for 2023. Bean crop may be unchanged, but the thing in soybeans is our export numbers. China's not taking as much, and Brazil and Argentina continues to compete for our bean, meal, and oil exports. So that could raise the carryout for 22-23 in the U.S. soybeans. The wheat is a mess. I mean, I don't know if the USDA can figure out imports of wheat, the demand for wheat, and also how much exports are actually going to come out of the Black Sea and Europe and Argentina. And the U.S. Hard red winter wheat crop is the lowest since 1963, when we had 180 million population, and right now we have 330 million population. Also, the corn crop is going to be down. There was an article out about the 33 things worldwide that could lead to massive food shortages. It had a lot to do with the droughts in Africa, had a lot to do with the floods in Pakistan, had a lot to do with drops in food production like carrots and sweet potatoes and celery, tomatoes and things like that here in the United States. So extreme weather is beginning to raise concern, especially in Africa, about getting food to people there. As much as 80% of the Pakistan crops were lost due to flooding. So again, the food shortages is something that could become an issue globally. As the UN, the UK think tank came out and suggested that over 800 million people go hungry to bed at night every night. As always, these are my thoughts, not those of ADM, and have a good trading day. We'll see what the USDA has to say.